watching church on TV, or like it was on the radio, or reading our Bibles and things like that. So religion did play a good portion of my life.
What is your view of God, the divine being?
He is. He exists. I believe that. You feel it in your presence. You have that faith. He is the divine being. I think that he can answer to all. And he really does care. And is there to protect and wants only to see the good for us in whatever capacity or facet that means.
Has religion contributed to your success? If so, how?
I think so. I think religion has contributed because I grew up with so many individuals in my life praying for me. I really do believe that has contributed a lot to the reason that I'm quote-unquote successful, however we want to define that. And their prayers have protected me since. And the people that have passed on, their continual prayers and protection have made me successful and watch over me. I mean, there are many times, even on the road, that I'm all like, okay, somebody's watching out for me. So there are crazy drivers in Dallas and in Austin.
How are women treated by religious institutions?
That's an interesting question. I've seen it, because I grew up in a Baptist church where it was this institution, because also we always had church kitchen, and it would always just be the women in the church kitchen, but the men would, they had their specific roles. They had to carry the heavy pots, they had to cook the meat and everything else, but all the women became this kind of religious sisterhood, hermanas, taking care of each other, seeing each other and things like that. The things that we saw at my particular church was that we didn't really have women deacons or women, but the women were essentially running the church. So I saw that as a power with women and being able to do that. I didn't, but I've seen different things now, and especially because now I go to a non-denominational kind of mega church, where women really are in those leadership roles, where we do give them a classification of pastor, of going through, even though that's what the women that I saw did, even though they didn't have the title. So.
What is the role of women in public life?
Role of women in public life. We can be anything. We can do anything. And I think people are now finally realizing that. So thankfully, hopefully, whenever I decide to have children, that complete stigma and mindset will be dissipated. There's so much work we still have to do, especially in being able to travel around the world and seeing these things kind of firsthand in the class systems that and the way women are treated differently. And even here, with the way that women are treated. I mean, I am still a lot of the time, the only woman director or manager on that team, or I go into these political, not necessarily political meetings, or these like executive meetings, only women. By far, only Latina. And only Latina or minority in that room. So still so much to have to go through.
What is the role of women in the home life?
Role of women in the home life. I am still a traditionalist. I really do like this tradition, but I think that also there has to be equal balance and partnership. I think that role can be made in any way. I think that it depends upon whoever is within that household and what those roles are comfortable with. And so, but I do. I have this idea of what I want in my head. Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. But we'll roll with it when we see.
Right.
I don't want to cook. I know that. I'm not the greatest cook in the world.
Describe what you learned as a child about how women ought to relate to men.
My mom was, even though she was quiet and she fit in her role and she believed in etiquette and propriety and everything else, she was still pretty much a feminist. And the fact that women can equally do and Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah. Describe what you learned as a child about how women ought to relate to men.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and so she was very much a famous. She was a single mom. Because my father passed away so young, I never really saw that particular relationship, but in her, in dealing with other people, and she never remarried. She did date, so I was around some of her longer term gentlemen and things like that. But, there was she was definitely a feminist in being able to relate well with men, and even though there are certain things that she always taught me, how to always expect graciousness, how to always expect chivalry, and being that way. So that's how I kind of grew up.
Cool.
And that's what I still expect. That's probably why I'm still single.
What have been some obstacles you have encountered as a woman?
Obstacles. I never really look at it as obstacles, because I think that the things that I've worked through with my life, there's always been some type of great mentor or leadership to be able to help guide me through those particular situations. And I've been very fortunate to not have as many obstacles. I think that also lends to faith, and always knowing that there's going to be an open door. That if that door didn't open, okay, well then there's a reason, there's a path, there's a thing, there's something else there that I need to do. So, but I think that I haven't had as many obstacles. I mean, our upbringing, we never starved. She always found a way. We may not have had the best of things, and because I was able to start working at a young age, I've always learned how to make money on my own, how to provide for family on our own, and things like that. And also take care of family at that point.
So kind of like you said, you talk about religion with obstacles. Do you think that religion plays a big role in how you handle obstacles and the way you face those?
I think so. Even though I'm not as religious or I don't know how to phrase that. Spiritual, more than anything else, and religious in that way. I don't think that God necessarily is confined in a box, and that church is the only place where I need to go to be able to get that, to be able to feel that. And so I do a lot of watching on television, and not television, on my computer mostly. I stream a lot. But I feel that, but I also love praise and worship, so I go over there. So I think that in being able and understanding and looking for those answers, and having faith in those answers, and knowing my own voice, listening to the voices and the things that people say. I think God whispers to people. I think that people tell me certain things at certain times when I need to hear them. And that's how I've been able to get over obstacles and work through it, and know that everything at the end of the day, and if I reviewed my entire life, the things that I worried about, the things that I did, always worked out in some way, shape, or fashion. May not have been the way that I wanted it to work out, or the way that I thought that it should work out, but it worked out. And, here, and there was a lot of times when I possibly might not have been here. So that's my count.
Cool. So do you think women in general have a lot of obstacles that they face in society?
Oh, I think so. I can say as a director, as a manager, generally as a woman, I think that people come in with preconceived notions and automatics and things that they feel that women should be, or they fit into this, or are this way. So I think there are several obstacles in that way. I always get put in kind of a box and be like, oh, well, she's just going to be this way. And they're all like this and everything else. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. That's not who I am. That's not the way that I operate. And so
how do you think you fix that? That preconceived notion that women are supposed to be a certain way. How do we address it so that it's, in society, so that it's not like that?
Yes, yeah. I think it's going to take generational change. Definitely starting with the younger generation, the things that I've seen that are available to girls now are things that I wish were available when I was growing up. That we have this automaticness, that it's that automatic, confident thought all the time. And then it's also going to take a generation of men to teach their boys that that's okay. That we may be different, but we still require the same. And that we still can do. And our capabilities are unlimited for both of us. So, because that's what we're seeing a lot in Latin males and everything now, is that shifting, that mind shift. So, and we need to catch up on this.
They do. They really do. How do you define success?
Defining success. I know lots of people say family, and I personally, I think success is me just being happy. Happy where I'm at, happy with what I have, and at this particular point in time, I'm happy. I'm not satisfied. I think that that's two different things. And success is me being able to help as many people as I can. I've continually picked positions that allow me to help a number of people, whether that was directly or administratively, to be able to put those other pieces in place so that we can help as many people as possible. So usually if I'm helping a family, or even helping an MT, that's success.
So is that what you think makes you the most successful woman you can be?
It depends, because I put those in categories. That's the other thing. I do put those in categories where I'm the most successful woman that I can be in my career. Maybe not. Most successful woman that I could be in family. Maybe not. But successful on different levels. Successful to where I think that I've done, if I look at my career, if I've looked at my life, I have had some major successes. And I feel that confidence in being successful is great. But I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm fully successful.
You're getting there, right?
I'm getting there, yeah.
What role does religion play in you achieving your success?
It still plays a significant role in me achieving my success. And again, I keep coming back to that faith and that constantness and knowing that everything, and just having that peace and knowing that everything that I do is going to be successful, whether that's because of hard work or faith or people being placed in my path at the right time. That's how it becomes successful.
Do you think religion's ever hindered your success in any way?
I don't think so. I'm a pretty private person when it comes to my religion. I know everybody posts everything on Facebook and da-da-da. I'm not that way. I believe in practicing my religion and having that sort of not autonomy, anonymity. Because I think it's a very personal thing for everybody. I think that those things. So I don't think that it really has hindered my success in any way, shape, or form. It's interesting because I work for Catholic Charities.
Right.